Ambulance!
Again, I've been getting kind of heavy into Prime, and I watched the entirety of the New Kids in the Hall.
Who are you people? It's me, Mark. Scott, is that you?
Oh my God, if you have to ask, it can't be good. Am I still the cute one?
Sort of.
It was good. I liked it. They still got it, I tell you. Although the season is like it's so short, it was 8 episodes. And they didn't have a lot of the recurring characters that I thought they would. Like by episode 1, they showed the cops. Episode 2, they showed Buddy. Every character from like the original series kind of made a little appearance. Which makes me feel like if you really wanted to, you can cut the whole season down to like a movie. And it kind of felt like that. You think Buddy's going to be a recurring thing, but I mean, he gets his bar back through magical glory hole. It's still Kids in the Hall stuff. Sometimes crass, sometimes a lot of the cerebral stuff that they're going for.
Toilet humor is not comedy!
It is like 18 plus. There was a lot of full frontal nudity, which I thought was just kind of weird. Not a whole lot. There was a bunch of it in the first episode, a little bit of it in the second, and then late it disappeared. It was like, oh, I guess they're just doing it. I guess they're doing it because they can.
Auto workers and strippers are in the same union, so, you know, I got to keep my benefits.
Oh my God, he's still at the landmine. That's so hot.
The effects are sometimes they're a little bit too good, and that's jarring. Like, there was one shot in the first episode where there's aliens, and they actually have CGI aliens and a spaceship, and it's weird. That's affordable now. Anyone could do that in their homes. But even the alien costumes themselves are like really, really good looking.
The Earth has unplugged its last fax machine.
What's protecting them now?
Nothing.
You don't know what Kids in the Hall is? Actually, I should probably bring that up. Kids in the Hall is a Canadian comedy troupe. Very similar to your Monty Python would be the most prominent example. The Whitest Kids You Know. Now there's like oodles and oodles of them on the internet now, because they all have YouTube channels.
You shot my Bible.
Lorne Michaels, who wasn't content with stealing Second City from the Canadians, also had to steal other talented Canadian comedians. So another little side project of his was the Kids in the Hall, a smaller, leaner troupe of comedians. Unlike Saturday Night Live, it didn't take an hour. Kids in the Hall was actually 30 minutes. The show ran for 7-8 years, I think. I know it because it was constantly on reruns on the Comedy Central. It was an inside joke or an industry joke that Lorne Michaels basically kept it going for its entire run, because it was just so weird and bizarre, and yet at the same time so ahead of its time when you think about it.
Brain Candy has made its money back.
I knew it would. You know, I thought it would take a week. Wound up taking 30 years.
Well, you're never wrong, Don.
Yeah, well,
They went off the air. Then they had Brain Candy, which was a movie that didn't do very well and didn't gain much of a cult following. Even though it's a miniature cult following. I like it.
What's it about?
No one knows. Some say this movie was dry heaved into existence because of a dark deal with the devil. Others say it was laundering coke money. Either way, the reviews were mixed at best.
And then they did a miniseries for Canadian broadcasting, Death Comes to Town, which is hilarious.
And I know I said that the Olympic Games would be great for Shuckton and give us something to be proud of other than our rat fur industry.
Yay, rat fur!
When I think about Kids in the Hall, I always think about they were the first ones to like really go overboard for like very short sketches. Like their sketches, some of them would like only last like 10 seconds, and you know that they would take hours and hours for setup.
Hey, Delima, what do you think you're doing?
What's up?
Fell asleep on the job.
No, I didn't.
I think about how that sketch alone must have taken a whole day of setup. And for what was it for? Just for that one gag, but it was hilarious. And that's what they would do. They would put like tons of effort into these like stupid bits. Bruce was known for his weird, very surreal style. He directed things like In the Darkness.
Grickles, what do you go home to?
My wife, my child, my rooster.
And I'm glad that showed up in this series because I found it was really missing in Death Comes to Town. It was he was here and there when it was in certain shots of Death Come to Town, but you could tell it wasn't. They either didn't have the budget to like film it very cinematically, or David clearly wasn't behind the camera at any point. I think someone else did direct that. I know he wrote it. They are definitely older, and it shows. There are certain skits where it looks like really good. They look fine. Like they could really pass for like younger versions of themselves. And sometimes it's just really blatant. And you know what? They've incorporated that humor into their repertoire. There's a good sketch about basically older strippers.
This is for the TV.
Is it the cable?
I would say the one that hasn't missed a step is oh crap. Scott, Kevin, Dave, Bruce. Who's the tall guy? There is literally a sketch. It's like one of the most surreal sketches they have.
Yes.
Can I be a friend of Mark?
Sure. But you better get yourself a flag.
Mark. Okay. Shit. Friends of Mark. There's a Friends of Mark sketch, which is so bizarre. It's like 1960s like propaganda film / theater art like installation thing. In a really brilliant twist, we actually see one of Gavin's story played out live, like as if it were actually real.
And that child grew up to be a famous Disney character. I needn't say his name, as it's sort of obvious. And also, I'm not allowed to.
Like I was saying, in the original series, they relied on just themselves a lot. I don't know if it's the increased budget or just because they needed like different actors to fulfill different parts, but they really have been bringing in a lot of other people into the show, and actually, it's pretty good.
Like it was bingo, wasn't it?
Even when they were doing Death Comes to Town, they didn't rely on a whole bunch of other character actors. But here a whole bunch of people pop up, and they give a surprisingly like funny Kids in the Hall-esque performance.
Last night, a man went brutally murdering 11 prostitutes in Bequith Lane. Chopped them up like fine onions, he did.
And upon rewatching, I realized why the new season of the Kids in the Hall seems so weird compared to the older ones. It's because there's no monologues, just themselves on a stage. But they've really moved away from that and moved just like completely dedicated to sort of shot and filmed stuff. When they first started out, if you look at their behind the scenes stuff, they say that how they were learning how to see comedy through the camera because they were stage performers and they do improv and stuff like that. And it was also very effective, very cheap. If you're just going to like tell a weird story to either an audience, even if it's there or not, maybe have some images projected up on a screen behind you. Buddies Buddy's bits were mostly just monologues. But they don't do that anymore, and that's what I'm kind of thinking feels a little off about this last season. But clearly it's like part of their evolution, where they said they wanted to learn how to see comedy through the camera, and that just might be their preference now. Also, they do this weird thing with Friends of the Kids, where they have like celebrities do these little, like, I don't know, just bits to the camera. Now that's actually like as low tech as you can get now, where they had Mark Hamill on one episode. They had I don't know, just a bunch of anyone who wanted to do it, I guess. Seems a little bit out of place.
Man, I was a big fan of the Kids. Big fan. I remember hanging out with them backstage, you know, eating grapes, all the carryings on. Well, I mean, I was near them. You know, I kind of ate my grapes in the corner. They didn't really know I was there, but that's what made it fun.
Also, they do take little digs at, I noticed, little microaggressions about being grumpy old men in comedy nowadays. But it doesn't feel, like, malicious. Like, but there was one joke that actually, like, made me laugh out loud.
Please don't clap. I find it acoustically aggressive.
There's a part where the Queen shows up, and I don't know if this was before or after her death. But it doesn't matter, it's still funny. It would be hilarious if she just kept showing up. Like I said, there's a bunch of that, like, good old-fashioned, like, mind-screwing with sketches. Especially, I'm hoping that Bruce directed this one sketch. It's just David in a basement, and it's slowly revealed that it's the end of the world, and he's just, like, playing a record over and over and over again. He turns it on, and he just stares in the middle distance every time the song goes. It's such a hilariously sad commentary on just even with the world ending, he's just going through the motion because he doesn't know what to do. It so had to be directed by Bruce. Very reminiscent of Sausages and You Were Right to Drop Out of School.
The weather today is mostly lethal, so stay indoors. And by indoors, we mean underground in a secure bunker or an abandoned mine.
I found myself, like, pleasantly laughing during the whole thing. Just enjoying the whole experience. It was like the perfect nostalgia bomb. It would air all the time on Comedy Central, and during the summer, I would just gorge myself on just those episodes. It's summer now, so it just kind of felt like, oh, everything's lining up, as I spent the day just, like, re-experiencing that again. My favorite sketch of the whole thing was the Kevin McDonald sketch, which was very reminiscent of how they are basically meta-savvy. It's a sketch where Dave is trying to sell like a videotape of an old Kevin McDonald sketch.
It's got all the earmarks of a classic Kevin McDonald sketch. It's got that the crazy high voice, and the finger wagging for no apparent reason.
Slowly David realizes that he is himself in a Kevin McDonald sketch and gets more and more pissed off about it, while Kevin just delights himself in it.
I'm Dave Foley. Kevin!
I do very much hope that they get another season, because I would definitely enjoy more Kids in the Hall. Or they could go back to Canada TV. Wonder if it was one of those deals where Amazon picked up the bill for most of it, and then Canada got to air some of the episodes. It's way more reminiscent of the good days than it is a lot of, like, weird new stuff. I hope they do manage to make more episodes.
This is a pickle.
Yeah, well, I think I know what's going to happen, Don. I'm going to say, yes, it is, and you're going to say, no, Marv, and then produce an actual pickle.
We could stone her with artisanal cheeses.
It's worked before.
Mm-hmm.